Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers, Rime of the Frostmaiden. This is season 5. This is episode 2. But you might notice from the overlay, and even from the way we just suddenly landed right here in your broadcast, that things are a little bit different. There are a ton of things to talk about. I'm going to do it real quick since we did get such a late start, and we'll get into the game. First and foremost, the most important thing, I want to say a shout out to V. I already shouted V out privately in our chat. V knows why. And to Dwight, the big bearded nerd, who is producing this stream behind the scenes. My internet decided it doesn't have the ability tonight. It just can't. It just can't even. So I was not going to be able to stream tonight, but because I have such wonderful, amazing friends that I surround myself with, they helped me to see reason, jumped in, and Dwight is producing tonight's game for us. So everybody, if you haven't done so already, as a thank you, head over to Big Bearded Nerd's Twitch channel and follow the channel. You should already be doing it. I shouldn't have to tell you that. You should already be following his channel. So go do that. The next thing I want to mention is the fact that you will notice that DM Scotty is not with us tonight. Unfortunately, due to real life commitments, Scotty has to step down from the Dawnbringers and will no longer be a part of our campaign. We have all said our goodbyes to Scotty in our private group chat. We are doing this side arc, the Adamantine Fortress, for the next roughly 3 episodes. So in the new year, we will address in game, in canon, we will address Griveth's leaving. But I wanted you all to know that that is why Scotty is not and will not be joining us. But on the flip side, a bit of exciting news. If you look down where Zach's been for the past 4 months, look who's back with us. It's M. We are genuinely so excited. We are all so happy to have you back with us. We've missed you and Fig so much over the last several months. So it's just awesome to have you back. And I'm very excited to play through this arc and see where and what Fig has been up to while Gerithan has been slumming around with the Dawnbringers. So in just a few minutes, we are going to get into this new storyline and start to explore that. I do want to just say real quick, because I'm realizing this is such a bare bones production. We do still have domain dice in play. You just won't be able to see them. I want to call out our sponsors and our partners real quick, since you can't see them on screen. The chat commands will be popping up periodically throughout the stream to keep you apprised of all that stuff. But just know that as always, we are proud to be partnered with Jasper's Game Day. You can type exclamation point Jasper's in the chat to bring up a donation link. Jasper's is dedicated to raising awareness, education, and ultimately the elimination of suicide through tabletop gaming. Type exclamation point coffee, and you can get a link where you can get some of our metadata roast coffee. Purchasing a bag of coffee does also help Jasper's Game Day out. And they make great gifts with Christmas coming up. Speaking of great gifts, you can, you can type exclamation point merch, and you can head over to our Teespring store. We've got all kinds of cool t-shirts, sweatshirts, and designs like this Bardic College shirt that I designed and I'm wearing now. If you look down in the corner there, Jeremy's got ham on his goodies, as Tamiko phrased it, with our Hammer Die shirt. We also have themed shirts for all of our games. The Dawnbringers shirt. We've got Splorch. Are you wearing your tavern shirt, Zach? Is that what you were showing off? The MTD tavern design. All of that stuff makes for great Christmas gifts. Also, check out our sponsor, MTD, or nope, that's us. Check out our sponsor, Talon and Claw, exclamation point MTD Claw. We'll give you the link to Talon and Claw, where you can get some pretty cool dice accessories like these dice vaults and things like that. And use code MTD Claw to get 10% off your purchase. Thank you to everybody that is subbing and cheering and all that good stuff. We really appreciate the support here. So thank you for that. Shout out to D&D Beyond for granting us insider access. Even though you can't see it on the screen, you can on the Twitch screen. You'll actually be able to see all these new characters that everybody is playing. And I said domain dice are already in play. The last thing no matter what, I got to get this out before we start. This is super important. And we talk about this all the time, and we'll continue to talk about it before every stream. And it's simply this. It's you matter. No matter where you are, no matter whether or not you believe it, your presence on this earth makes a difference. It can be tough, especially with times such as they are and with the holidays sort of swirling around us right now. But we want you to know that help is available to you. You can come here to our chat any time of day or night, whether we're streaming or not. And you can type exclamation point help, and there will be some resources, phone numbers, text numbers, and a website where you can reach out and get that help for yourself. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with seeing counselors or therapists. I had my therapy appointment yesterday. It was absolutely wonderful. I hate to think if I hadn't have had that grounding of my therapist this week, how I would have handled the stress tonight. So just remember, you matter. You are not a critical failure. And those resources are available to you. With that, are you all ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons? Excellent. So we're going to rewind time just a little bit back to when the Dawnbringers were working their way through the Nightfang Spire. As they began to progress along through the spire, Fig began experiencing these bizarre states where he would go into a trance-like state and he would see through somebody else's eyes. He would hear in a language that he both understood and didn't understand. And he would see things that he couldn't explain. He confided in first Cantriel and then later in the others as they became aware of these occurring with increasing regularity, until just after their near-death encounter with all of the fire elementals and the fire myrmidons, and their hallucinatory battle with the aspect of Gothias. They were recovering in the company of the Gerithan when a portal opened up beneath Fig, and Fig fell through the floor through this portal and vanished. Almost instantly, a portal opened up above the ceiling, in the ceiling, and Gerithan, the Githrazai fighter, appeared and has been traveling with the Dawnbringers ever since. But we are going back to that moment when the floor opens up beneath your feet, Fig. You see this glowing blue sigil appear, and suddenly there's no floor, and you are pulled through. And almost instantly, there's no falling. You're just suddenly standing on different terrain in a different place that is both strange and familiar to you. You are standing on a cliff edge at the mouth of a small cave from which you must have just emerged. Before you, you see an awe-inspiring sight. An immense structure of bizarre, precise make, carved from the stuff of some other world entirely. A faint shimmer glistens off of the angular walls of this incredible fortress. A subtle and irregular pulse aches on your mind as you stand before it, sensing some disturbance emanating from within. This fortress is suspended in a grand cave in this underdark realm, hovering above the blue glow of the cavern's floor. The bioluminescence of this place's fauna shines off of the immaculate fortress before you. A field of naturally formed crystals glow mostly in shades of blue underneath this fortress. Though you notice that there are places where it looks like this floating fortress seems to brush up against or cut into the walls of the cavern. The crystals are dead. They don't glow. Any plant life does not glow. You also notice, Fig, that you're not alone. There's a humanoid figure standing in front of you. Not his name, but more or less who he is vaguely familiar, as you have seen this dark elf in other visions, in your shorter glimpses. He has his back to you, and you hear in a language that you shouldn't be able to understand. Is that it, Githzerai? Is that the Adamantine citadel? He does not turn to look at you. He's staring in awe at this fortress. What do you do, Fig?
Fig tilts his head from side to side as you can hear the gears begin to click and whir in his neck. Very quietly, Fig takes a few steps forward. I have seen you before.
The figure turns with a start. In an instant, there's a flash of bioluminescent blue glow across steel as this figure's scimitar is in their hand. And the tip of the scimitar is pointed right at your throat. Who are you?
Yeah, Fig doesn't even react to that. He doesn't even move back as this, I imagine this blade is literally millimeters or inches for you Americans from Fig's neck. And
he's looking, you see him looking around. Sorry, you see him looking around you, looking for someone. What did you say?
I am not who you thought.
I was with another. Gerithan. The Githzerai. I was escorting him. Where is he? What have you done with him?
I am unsure what has happened. I was in another place. And now I am here. And your friend was here and is now in another place, I would assume.
This other place. Was it a dark place, full of other strange humanoids?
Strange? Yes. Humanoids?
Dwarves.
Yes.
dwarves, elves, a giant. Gerithan would slip into trances from time to time. And he told me of the visions he had.
That is fascinating. I had the same dreams, visions of you, seeing you.
Gerithan did not tell me of a metal man. What are you? And the sword lowers. It's no longer threatening your throat. But as he says that, he takes the edge of the blade and sort of the backside of the blade and taps a metal part of your bicep, hearing the metal on metal sound. What? Are you a living entity?
I have concluded that yes, I am a living entity. My name is Figure 2 Prometheus. You may call me Fig. And he looks down for a moment at his hand of the bicep that this elf had tapped and holds it out to him for a handshake.
He looks hesitantly at your offered hand and then awkwardly takes it, not switching out his sword. So he sort of does that weird sort of backwards handshake kind of thing. Are you here to stay then? Or will Gerithan return?
I would like to figure that out. I would like to very much return to my friends. And he pauses and he looks at you at him up and down. No offense. I'm sure you are lovely.
I'm not certain how you wish to proceed. My job was to escort Gerithan to here. This ended my period of service. I am to return back to Menzoberranzan. Will you be okay here?
Yes, I think I shall continue through his steps to see if I can figure this out. I'm sure he appreciates what you have done for him.
Well, I am most definitely glad that I took payment up front. He kind of looks at you hesitantly and takes a step as if to leave and then says, "You should know that he intended to go into that place if he could find the entrance. But the journey was about finding this place. Gerithan spoke of home. I don't know what you will find there."
Hopefully answers.
There's a sound of metal on leather as he sheathes his scimitar. He looks at you again and gives you sort of a half bow and turns to leave. If you don't stop him, he's going to disappear into the shadows of the cavern.
I think we'll just watch, just tilting his head from side to side.
Thus leaving you standing on the precipice of this. You're sort of on a raised area. There's natural steps formed in this stone that lead down into this incredibly massive cavern. You see out before you this crystalline field of bioluminescent plants that their light is refracting and amplifying through all of these crystals. And this fortress of what you know to be adamantine hovers above it. No apparent entrances, though this fortress has many angles and cutaways and intricacies that as you look at it with your analytic mind, you can see the mathematical precision with which this place is constructed. Give me I will let you choose if you want to use insight, perception, or history. Tell me what you choose, and I'll tell you what you discover.
I think I'm going to choose history.
Okay.
19.
You know from your readings and your time in isolation of spells that can summon towers of adamantine that are nowhere near as grand as this fortress that you see before you. You also have knowledge of how certain summoning and teleportation aspects work, enough to tell you that there are places where you see portions off far to the side of this fortress that are clipped into the wall. They seem to almost be fused there, telling you that this fortress is not originally from this cavern.
Are there little bits and pieces of adamantine or even rocks on the ground where he is at the mouth of this cave?
There isn't. The only adamantine is the fortress itself.
All right. So with a quick scan, Fig is going to take his first few steps forward, a bit hesitantly, a bit apprehensive at first as he looks around, but then a little bit more confidently as he begins to just kind of talk to himself a little bit to calm his mind. This is absolutely fine. You can handle this, Fig. You just need to figure out how to get back to your friends. All right. Now, it was 33 steps to the front entrance. Now, let us count the next steps. And that's what Fig is going to be doing. It's just counting his steps further in.
I have no choice but to picture this in my mind as R2-D2 whistling to himself, moving through the jungling wastes, and it's during this that we are going to actually kind of cut to a different point of view, multiple points of view, as you are muttering to yourself and moving through this crystal field towards this floating fortress of adamantine. We see POVs of somebody looking out from behind a crystal. And then from somewhere else in the crystal field, another figure looks out. All of you, I'm going to, in a moment, just turn it over to you to present yourself however you will. But here is what you know. This is in addition to what I've already told you in preparation for your characters. You knew, rather, in the very core of your being, the moment Fig appeared on the rock shelf. You don't know who Fig is. You don't know who this strange clockwork individual with the magnificent robes and pointed hat is. You know that you are aware of them in the same way you are aware of one another. And within moments of this figure appearing, it is casually strolling through the crystal fields that you patrol. How do you react to this new incursion?
So you're saying that we have the sense, like the knowing of this person as we do to each other?
Yes, you know that it is a clockwork construct of some kind.
So Bark, as he typically does, would just like kind of make a little like avian chirp and see if the newly arrived figure would turn around. Just,
Yeah, I think if Fig would hear that, he would turn his head pretty quick to see, and just with a careful hello? Who is there?
So I guess Bark would step out. And what you see, it definitely appears to be, a constructed figure, but as opposed to more of a metallic outer shell, Bark seems to be, like his name implies, like carved layers of wood, and at his joints, it looks like layers of green vine seem to go underneath. His head actually, as I said, looks avian, but it is carved out of wood with like a coppery beak and bright green eyes. He's wearing armor of furs and hides that is like the fur is like white and speckled. And he carries this thick gnarled staff that kind of like bends and twists and has this orb at the head of it, and the only real like metal thing is the shield that is on his left arm.
Who are you? I seem to be lost.
I am Bark. Who are you?
I am Fig. And he puts out his hand. I imagine also it's very far away. He hasn't approached at all. He just holds out his hand.
So about how far away, are we? This is probably echoing across the tunnels.
Yeah, I imagine maybe like a bit, enough to make it awkward that he is holding out his hand.
So I guess Bark would kind of like, turn his head back towards the companions that haven't stepped out yet.
Who amongst you will present yourself?
I think at this point you see emerging, almost as a phasing out of the rocks, another humanoid form. But she's very tall and sleek looking. And instead of more of the rough hewn, like Bark's creation, she's very sleek, almost seamless. And the metal that she's made of is dark in hue. And you realize that it's not so much that she phased out of the stone, but she sort of morphed her form to look like stone. And she has these very vivid electric blue glowing eyes that focus on Fig. And the rest of her face is almost expressionless, even though she does have a nose and mouth. And as she moves towards you, Fig, she's very fluid and barely makes a sound as her feet fall on the stone floor. And she cocks her head smoothly towards Bark and then turns it back towards you. And she looks back to Bark. Have you found yourself another one then?
It appears so. This one is Fig.
Fig. Like the fruit?
It is a shortened form of my full name, Figure 2 Prometheus. And you see Fig kind of, his hand is still outstretched and he kind of unsure, like goes between Bark and this other one, just hand out.
I guess that Bark would approach and put the staff in his other hand and reach out and shake, just to, I guess, kind of end your insurity. He's pretty insightful, and I'm gonna guess that you're unsure as to what to do with the hand once offered. So he wishes to kind of make that go away.
I'm Eversum. You can call me Eve for short.
It is pleasant to meet you, and you. I thought I would be alone here.
There is more if they're willing to come meet you. And Bark will turn.
So one of the nearby crystals will stand up, and it wasn't really a crystal. It kind of shimmers and ripples, and there's a clicking, and the color of the crystal flips to a verdigris copper. Looked like it was just kind of a color blend, not anything as perfect as Eve's hiding. But this figure stands up, another constructed being. He has no facial features at all, just sort of flat, smooth faceplate, and then goggle-like lenses that are currently glowing a very faint red, but then kind of flick to green. And he stands up, steps a little bit forward, and says, "You got here very abruptly."
So did you. You were a crystal, and then you were not.
Fair enough. I'm called Phalos. It's nice to meet you, Fig.
All right, the other
And
two can come out too, you know.
I was going to say, an uncomfortable silence fills the cavern.
The sound of footsteps fills the uncomfortable silence from behind you as another figure emerges from behind one of these crystals that dot this field. This figure, a kind of rough, kind of rusted metal draped with the tattered cloth of a kimono, hand on a sword in its sheath, just kind of walks from behind one of these crystals and stands almost perfectly still. A hood is draped over it, and glowing eyes peer out from beneath this hood. It doesn't say anything, though.
That's Jin.
It's a slow nod.
And I think lastly, there's movement from between one of these clusters of crystals, and you realize that the figure that was hiding there could have only hidden in a place like this because the entirety of his skin is highly polished and reflective, much like the crystals that he was hiding amongst. And he would have no chance of hiding in the shadows of anything. He is very tall, but he's pretty thin and lithe, and he's got a neck and a head that is designed more like a snake. It's kind of elongated and ends in kind of a almost like a diamond tipped hood or helm that kind of makes his eyes look a little more narrow than they really are, and his eyes kind of glow this blue color. I imagine it's probably not too much unlike Fig's. And he is draped with the white and red symbolism of a devout follower of Ilmater. You see the two hands that are bound with red cord on his shield, as well as emblazoned on the tabard that he wears. And he carries with him on his hip a flail that never seems to stop moving, even if he does. And he kind of almost slithers forward, not very gracefully, but it's more of a slither than a walk. And he comes up to kind of the edge of where everyone is standing, and he simply says, "He did say that it was lost."
You are quite different from the others.
He kind of looks around at the others as if he had never had this thought before. Should I be the same?
I suppose not. That was my assumption of a similar creator, but it seems as though all of you are very different. I am Fig.
I am Asclepios. Do you need our assistance?
Fig, at this exact moment, you feel a pressure in your head. There's a ringing sound. There's a sound almost like cracking. And then you hear a voice. I would be cautious around them. Exercise all of your guards. You know this voice. You have not heard this voice since you defeated your sibling in Saltmarsh, cracked open their skull and absorbed their mind gem. This is the voice of your sister, Archimedes, who has spoken to you for the first time since you absorbed the mind gem.
This is quite an odd occasion, sister, for you to finally speak up. He says out loud.
I'm sorry, but you are the one who started the introductions. And I'm not your sister.
I apologize. I apologize. I am speaking to my sister, who you most likely cannot hear.
That's
Wonderful.
correct. I didn't hear anything.
Your first impression is to make them think you're out of your mind. Your programming is failing. Great. We're off to a wonderful start. The rest of you all simultaneously hear in your own minds what sounds like static. You must protect him.
Has anything
Is this
like
the
this
first-
ever happened before?
Yeah.
No, it has not.
Uh-huh.
I adjust my antenna.
Stand farther to the left. All right, so the first thing Phalos is going to do is look at the others and see if any of them are reacting to what he just heard.
Eve would have like sort of tipped her head back and forth and narrow her eyes.
All right,
Bart
so he'll
typically has his head cocked to the side like he's, listening. So there's probably no outward, indication.
all right.
But he
So-
would totally at that moment, he would just cast a quick druid craft, and the sound of birds fluttering would surround Fig.
Jin's head finally raises from the nod, and he just slowly approaches Fig, and then speaks and says, "We will protect you."
You are not the only one that knows that Figure 1 Prometheus is here. They will be coming for him.
Others know you're here.
Did
We'll
we all
protect
hear
you
that
from
as
them.
well, Jake?
Yep.
Okay.
I will proceed. Anytime the voice happens, I will proceed with a bit of static so you know that you are all hearing this broadcast in your mind. Fig, you do not hear this broadcast. The only voice that you hear is that of Archimedes. Well, perhaps they are as unhinged as you are. Be careful around them.
I think Asclepios steps forward kind of with renewed purpose and says, Ilmater has spoken. You will be brought into our protection. And he's going to step up beside Fig and try to whisk him away back from wherever we came, wherever we find like solitude.
Fig is going to resist that. Fig is like just stands and just if you want to do an opposed strength, we can, but
No.
Fig would not move. He just kind of would look down at you.
Don't touch me, you hear Archimedes say in your head to Asclepios.
Oh, wow. So Phalos shakes his head and that what wasn't Ilmater. Don't be stupid. Something's coming, though, apparently. He holds out his hand, flexes his fingers, and the plating around his forearm starts to disarticulate and pop out and then rearrange into something that sort of turns his arm a little bit into a Mega Man arm cannon. And there's a crackling bluish-white energy around what is the muzzle. Do you have any idea why you're here or what you're looking for? Figure 1 Prometheus.
I do not know the reason I am here. However, my new purpose is to find a way to leave, to return from where I came.
We just got here and you want to leave?
I have no purpose here.
Doesn't that fortress spark your curiosity? Don't you want to know what's inside? There has to be a reason we're here.
You are hearing strange voices as well.
Strange, yes, but not in the definition of unknown. I am speaking with my sister.
Ah,
Can they not hear me?
You
Hello?
are-
Well,
You
this is
are
fabulous.
interfering with my
Oh, far be it from me to be an intrusion. I didn't put me in your head.
Are you speaking to them telepathically?
No, they are here. And he kind of like ting, 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 ting.
Oh, at that point, Eve's arm, like, just, you see the metal like rippling around almost like mercury, and it forms itself into a scimitar as she sighs and sort of rolls her lighted eyes. So in other words, let's get ready for anything.
I will fix this. And you feel the presence of Archimedes recede further back into your consciousness. And you get the sense that if your head was a physical place that you could be in and move around in, Archimedes is moving through your subconscious mind and rummaging around, basically.
You must remember, sister, to put everything back from where you found it.
You don't have any intention to do the same to us, do you?
No, I do not think I would have a large enough brain case to encompass all of you. Maybe 2. And he like points to like 2 of you.
that is
You-
not reassuring.
I'm sorry, but who said we have to protect this one?
Ilmater.
No, it wasn't. That's the matter.
That wasn't Ilmater.
I would like all of you to make a perception check.
11.
15.
14.
16.
17?
21.
What was it, you guys, Zach?
16.
So the 16s and up are the ones that hear the sound first. From somewhere across the crystal field, you hear a sort of humming sound that, to anachronistically describe it, it sounds like drones, like a drone, but more than one of them. As you hear this sort of all of you, except for Fig, know what this sound is. These are entities that inhabit the crystal fields. You've had to deal with them from time to time. There are a pain, but you at least know what it is that is coming. As what appears to be 4, though it is hard to truly get a sense, because when you look at them, they don't seem to be quite where they are. As 4 large displacer bees head your way. I'm getting mixed reactions of joy and groan at the
I love you, Jake.
And I would like you all to roll for initiative.
That dealt psychic damage. Everyone mark that down.
No, that gives me inspiration. So
I have been sitting on the idea of displacer bees for I don't even know how long. Just waiting for a chance to use them. I need to do a couple rolls myself. Let's see. Oh, that is the wrong. Hold on. I gotta fix something. Get that out of here. There we go. No wonder. I put the wrong thing in and the challenge rating was screwed. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, save. Using D&D's encounter builder to do this. All right, Fig, what'd you get?
A 4.
Wunderbar. And Eve?
12.
12. Bark?
11.
Philos?
16.
Jin?
16.
Whoops. Asclepios?
18.
Right. I gotta put my things in place. Whoa. Put 78 in the initiative. That's not a thing. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Start. Asclepios, you are first as the 4 displacer bees begin heading your way. These creatures are they are large, and each one of them is probably, because displacer bee isn't a weird enough image, I want you to picture if a dwarf had wings and stingers. That's basically what's flying around, but much larger. They look like Duragars that have enlarged themselves in terms of size. That's not what they actually look like, although I kind of like that idea. That they actually look like they look like naked large Duragar with stingers. No, they look more they look like hornets, deadly hornets. Gimbly, nice one, Dwight. All right, as they are heading towards you, Asclepios, what are you going to do?
So Asclepios kind of turns to realize that that's what's approaching, and he will announce it to the rest of the group. It is the bees. And he's going to, the hood on the top of his head actually lowers so that his eyes kind of take on an even more menacing kind of slant to them as the eyes kind of brighten a bit. And beneath the hood, plates kind of extend outwards, similar to Philos's arm just a moment before, but this one pops out almost into the shape of like a hood of a cobra, so it kind of widens the width of his head, and almost simultaneously the chain on his flail kind of lets out, and it comes out the head of the flail almost to the point where it touches the ground, and kind of like stops with like and he kind of pulls the shield out in front of him, and he is going to ready an action for when one of them is close enough to him.
All right.
He is going to also position himself between the bees and Fig, because his god told him to do so.
Very well.
I didn't do that. You did it.
Jin or Phalos, you both have a 16, so you can act together, decide who goes first.
I'll jump in first if you don't mind, Zach, just in case.
for
So
it.
where are the naked dwarves? And
They-
like in relation to each other and us.
They're approaching in a wide pattern that I would say they're in a spread of about 20 feet in almost like a modified V formation heading towards you. I regret using the naked
Perfect.
dwarf idea.
Excellent.
to
No,
just-
it's done. That's it. They're giant Duergar that are built into construct things like the Screamers or the or the Hammerers. All right. So Phalos will flex his left arm, and the forearm does a similar thing that his right did, and it fans out into a round pattern, the plates reforming themselves into a shield that crackles with more of that blue-white energy, and his eye lenses flick red. He holds up his arm cannon, and the blue energy turns red and orange, and it crackles as it starts to gather energy, and then fires a little gleaming bead into the formation of the Hornets that explodes in the midst of them. So I will go ahead and fireball them.
All right.
Go ahead
They
and make,
do have.
Oh, sorry.
They do have to make. I will roll for each of them. Their
Dexterity saving throws.
dexterity save.
Yes. DC of 18.
Well, that's a fail. That's also a fail. That is also a fail. One of them, the one in the lead, gets a dirty 20.
All right, he passes.
They
I'll allow
all,
it.
because of their illusory projection, they have a thing called avoidance. So the one that saved will take no damage at all, and all of them will only take half damage. The ones that
Okay,
failed.
so half damage is 14 fire damage.
All right.
For the ones that failed. That will be my action. As a bonus action, the arm cannon will flick back to that bluish white energy and then fire just a lance of force at the nearest bee. So I'll just make an attack at it.
Okay.
Disadvantage,
And it
I
will be
assume?
at disadvantage. Yes, all attacks will be at disadvantage to the displacer bees,
Righto.
and that will be the one that took no damage that you're targeting because it's in the lead.
Fair enough. Well, that's garbage. I'm going to burn a domain die.
All right, V. I believe you are keeping track of domain dice for us tonight.
Ugh. Still garbage, but disadvantage. What can you do? 15.
15 is just going to hit.
Ah, delightful. So I will deal some force damage to it with my Eldritch Cannon. 15 points of force damage. And that's my turn.
All right. Next up in the order then would be
Me.
Jin.
Yes. So how far away are these guys?
I'd say at this point they're within 20 feet of you.
Sorry, I didn't want you to run in there and get fireball.
Yeah. Now's the time to run in there. I will kind of change my stance to this more stalwart footing, and reach over, hand on the hilt of my my katana, and I will slowly draw it. And as I draw it, there's kind of this flaring of light that kind of runs down the I would say poorly kempt metal in my arms and kind of glows under the rust. And there's kind of a spark and a trigger of a little mechanism as this blade draws and the blade burns with flame. And I kind of hold it out in kind of parallel to the ground and move forward before swing at as I arrive at the nearest of these naked Duergar with wings. Actually, before that, I will kind of, as I'm kind of moving there, just all along the metal of my body, what's exposed under this tattered kimono kind of glows for just a brief moment as I use my fighting spirit ability and bolster my own resolve, granting myself 5 temporary hit points and giving myself advantage on all attack rolls until the end of the current turn.
So straight attack rolls then versus these.
I figured as much. But now I will make a attack roll. How about a 21?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Roll damage. As I bring down this blade deftly. Okay. So we've got 14 points of sword damage and then 8 points of fire damage for a total of 22.
All right.
And if this thing is still flying about, I imagine it is.
Your sword, is it magical?
It is magical.
Okay.
And then I will come back for yet another swing. Yeah, I think a 26 will do the trick.
Yep.
Does it matter if it's to break out the fire damage?
No.
Okay. So we're looking at a total of math is hard. 19 points of damage
On that same one,
on the second attack.
but on that same leading displacer bee.
Yeah, yep.
All right.
And that is my turn.
Excellent. So that would bring us to Eve.
Okay, so Eve will go running towards the same displacer bee that Jin is fighting and flank on the other side, and fluidly just starts swinging her arm that's in the shape of a scimitar and goes in to attack this particular displacer bee and throws in her sneak attack in process.
At disadvantage.
Yep.
Although, wait, I'll let you roll straight because you did specifically say you were flanking it.
Yeah. Okay, so then that is going to be an 18.
It's going to hit.
All right, cool. So then that is, oh God. Forgot rogues and sneak attack get more hefty. Okay, so then for do you want the damage broken down?
Only if you have non-magical attacks in there.
No, it is on. Oh, see. All right. 14. Hold on.
Well, yeah, because you're using an arm blade, which is magical. So
That is 24.
24 damage.
Oh, wait, hold on. 24 plus an additional 5, 29. 29 damage.
How, Eve, how do you take out this first displacer bee?
I decapitate it, darling.
And you just, as its head hits the ground, you just hear this, and then a crashing, shattering sound as it breaks into the crystal field, shattering some of the crystal bloom.
That will be it for her then.
All right, so that one is down. It is now Bark's turn.
Similar to, I apologize, I don't remember who it was that stepped in front of Fig, but
Asclepios.
Yes, thank you. Bark will do the same, and he will brandish his eagle pattern shield as he takes his staff and he begins whirling it over his head. So I guess, if there's anyone that happens to be standing behind him, you see the speckled hide, the speckled fur cloak that he's wearing begins to light up, and on the back it's just speckles, but as dots begin to glow, it like forms the star pattern of the outline of one of the bees, and he casts Guiding Bolt at disadvantage. That is an 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
And that is 18 points of damage, and it now is all glittery and glowy.
All right. Yep. So that one. All right. So that's your attack.
That's it.
All right. With a whirring and a rush of wind and wings, the displacer bees begin to swarm all around you. The one that you just attacked is going to go right for you, Bark. And as it comes flying towards you, it's hard for you to get a lock on exactly where it is, which side it's coming at you from. It turns out it's both, as its stingers sort of come out as if attached to tentacles. And it's going to take 2 stinger attacks at you. That's going to be a 24 and a 9. So one of those, I believe, will hit you, Bark.
Yes, the 9 is going to miss.
Is Bark still beside Asclepios?
Yes.
Or did he move forward?
Yes.
If he's beside me, Asclepios is going to thrust his shield out. I am a protection style paladin, so that attack will have disadvantage.
There is the sound of metal on metal as these stingers, it's more like a chitin, that these 2 stingers strike ding, ding, against your shield and sort of ricochet off, missing. One of the displacer bees is going to go for Eve, who took out the leader. Same thing. That's going to be a dirty 20 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
And a 10. So only one of them is going to hit.
Okay.
You will take 12 points of piercing damage. As it pierces through a part of your metal plating, you feel an acidic burn and take an additional 5 points of acid.
Okay, she's going to use her uncanny dodge with that.
All right. So
6 and 3.
6 and 3.
Okay.
Well, actually, you can dodge the 6. You can't really dodge an acid. That's
okay, so
injected
then that's what I was
into you.
wondering. So
So you'll take the 5
6
from the
11.
acid, but you'll cut the sting down to.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
And then the third remaining one is, you just see this sort of, as it's rushing toward, almost like a POV, as it's moving around these crystals, and it's making a beeline towards Phylos. 1d4 psychic damage, Zach. That's
You
a
did this
17,
to us.
or no, a 19, Phylos. Does a 19 hit you, Dan?
Sorry, didn't hear the name. No, it does not.
19 doesn't hit you.
Armor class 21 with the shield out.
The second one, the second one is a 22. I rolled a 16 on the die.
Oh, that one will get me.
So this one gets in with a 9 plus 4, 13 piercing and 1 point of acid damage. That ends the displacer bees.
So when that one hits me, I'll use my repulsion shield as a reaction to spend one of the charges and blow it 15 feet back from me.
All right. I imagine it goes flying back, breaking through some of these crystals, and it takes a moment for it to right itself And I'm going to say for the next round, you see this one, it no longer appears blurry and hard to focus on. This one is temporarily no longer displaced.
And I forgot.
That
If
would
the
be
one
so that would be two that currently can be attacked without.
Yeah, because one of them is glowing from the guiding bolt, and one of them is now the opposite of displaced. Placed. It's a placer bee.
It's that placed.
And what were you going to say, Jeremy?
Placer bee.
I forgot that I had ready an action. So when the one closed with bark,
Oh yeah, you're right.
That should probably trigger an attack.
Well, hold on though, because you used the
protections.
reaction to protect bark.
Great point. Yes, thank you.
So that would cancel out. Unless you want to not protect bark. All right, Fig. It is your turn.
Right.
And as you are getting ready to do whatever it is you're going to do, Fig, you feel Archimedes moving around in your consciousness, and something shifts inside, and you feel a jolt of power through your entire core. And everybody that happens to be looking at you will notice that all of your arcane blue glow has shifted to an orange color now. Archimedes is infusing you with magical energy of her own essence, and you will be able to add one additional damage die to any damage-based spells, or in terms of your for now that's what's in play.
No consequences will come of this, I'm sure. None at all. Excellent. Okay. Fig just kind of mutters, I appreciate the help, sister, but I have this under control. And Fig is going to reach out his hand at the closest displacer bee, and his hand detaches from his arm and kind of floats a little bit ahead of himself. And then the hand suddenly just grows larger. Just in an instant, it becomes this huge hand that is going to approach this bee at a lightning speed and is going to smack it.
You gotta say the name of the spell.
A
It's been so long.
Figsby's hand.
Figby's hand.
Figby's hand.
I love it.
And
All right, so I just need to know, are you going for the one that is no longer displaced, the one that is glowing, or the other one?
the one that is placed.
All right.
All right. All right. Sorry. I have to.
In chat now, they're playing with the bee puns. Big B's crushing fist. Fig B's hand.
That is going to. I'm going to use it
Keep it up.
Use a
I'm
domain
going to use
die.
a domain die. Yeah, because that was a 5. My first one. I'm so pleased. Oh. Wow. Okay. That was an 11.
That is not going to hit.
Yeah, it might. Roll a d6.
Oh, what do you got?
I will give you a wheel.
A what?
It's a Star Druid.
Oh, wheel.
Yeah,
It means
spiel.
good things.
Right. You're all playing clockwork entities. I was thinking literal wheel. I'm like, and
Here, have a gear.
And a cog dials in your aim.
A cosmic omen.
Surely won't need this.
I rolled earlier, and I rolled a good thing. So
All right. So that is a 4. So that's a 15.
which is exactly what you need to hit the displacer bees.
woot.
Nice. Hooray. Okay, so what with this attack bonus, I get an extra attack die?
Whatever your damage die is, you get
Or
one
damage.
additional damage die to add to it.
So instead of 48, it'd be 5d8.
Correct.
All right. Excellent. So that is going to be 27 points.
Wow. Okay. What is your spell casting modifier?
+5.
Okay. Roll me a d20.
Three.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's my turn unless something unfortunate happens.
Nope. Nothing unfortunate happens.
Okay.
Sorry. I just realized, I don't know why I didn't realize it that I did it out loud, but when you rolled and I laughed. There was nothing to it. It was coincidence. All right. If that's all you got, then we are back to Asclepios.
All right, so this one is has just hit his shield inadvertently with as it had tried to attach or tried to attack Bark, and so Asclepios kind of having thrown the tower shield that he wields kind of down onto the ground to give it support against this attack, now kind of opens up and pulls back with the head of this flail kind of trailing back behind his foot, and then is going to reach up and come up and over downward at this thing and strike it. Attempt to.
And which one were you striking at?
The one that attacked Bark but missed. I think
Okay.
he's the one that's glowing.
Yeah, that should be the one that's glowing.
Okay. Which should make the displace wash, right?
Yep, it's a wash. Straight
Okay.
roll.
The first one is going to be, let's see, 11 on the die for a total of 19.
There you go. That's a hit.
Excellent. Okay. So as he does so, he's bringing this flail up and over, and there's almost this like kind of rattling noise coming from the flail itself. And just before it actually strikes, the head of the flail kind of shifts into the head of a hooded cobra and comes down with fangs bared and strikes into this bee. And I'm going to juice it up with a divine smite.
All right.
Okay, so my level that starts
Asclepios
at
means
3d8.
business.
All right. Let's see, it's 9 and then
Zach's still showing his disappointment in that joke.
okay, so that's 17 points
All right.
from the first. As that kind of strikes in and these fangs bear into this creature for just a moment, almost kind of forming like a small like tear as the head is rended free. He kind of yanks backwards on it and the chain kind of retracts somewhat into the handle, and then he spins it around beside him before bringing it across laterally.
And I believe the advantage only lasts for the one attack.
First attack. Okay. I'll roll second die here. Oh God, with Jacob Norman. It was a 1 on the second die. I'm gonna spend a domain die.
Okay.
Take that displacer bees. Yeah, that's better. Starting with a 12, so that's a dirty 20.
Okay. Say it.
Say it. What you said?
I said it's a hit.
Oh, I thought you said say it. I'm like,
Say it.
I don't know what the hell to say, Jake. Yay? Business. So that's going to be 9 additional points for the second attack.
Okay. 9.
After both of those strikes, he then kind of turns back around, readying the shield in front of him again and lowering the flail down by his side, almost like he just went through some kind of like kata type dance, like he's done this 100 times and he's just programmed to fall back to this default position every time.
All right. Well, you're certainly giving these creatures a beating. It is Phalos and Jin.
I disapprove as my whole turn.
How many of these bees are left?
Still 3 of them, though one of them is looking pretty
Placed.
beleaguered.
Yeah. Several of them are not displaced at the moment. Is that correct? Also well struck.
Just one.
Sorry, yes. Just one of them is visible or
Right.
not displaced. They're all visible.
Okay. So that one I will open with my bonus action to blast it with the Eldritch Cannon, since it is straight up roll. 25. That'll hit. So it's going to take 14 points of force damage.
All right.
Still up.
Indeed.
All right. And then I'm going to fire off a shorter 3-round burst of force bolts using the Eldritch Blast cantrip. So one shot at that bee will hit for 17 force damage because I'm adding some extra artificer juice to it.
Excellent. It's still up, but
Still up. All right. I'll put
it's going like this.
I'll put a second blast into it. 21 hitting.
Yep.
5 points of force damage.
Still up.
Good Lord. I'll put the third shot into it. Why not? And that's a natural frigging 20.
It only had 8 hit points left.
So he just kind of like, damn it, and kind of walks right up on it, puts his arm right next to its head, and
Unbelievable.
all right, I'm done.
You shouldn't have told me your weakness, Zach.
I so shouldn't have.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
Is the one in front of me, has that been dealt with? One
Uh,
that I was engaged with and then I attacked?
Yeah, Eve took care of that one.
Okay, that's what I thought.
There are 2 of them remaining. One which has taken a bit of damage, quite a bit of damage, and the other one has barely been touched.
I will move up towards the one that has been damaged, quite a bit damaged, and bring down this flaming katana upon it. Is this going to be at a disadvantage?
Yes, they're all displaced,
Cool.
or the 2 are displaced.
How's a 13?
That is a miss.
I will come back for yet another. How's a 14?
Also a miss.
No. All right. I will I'm going to make a unarmed strike as a bonus action. And just after these slashes, get frustrated and just kind of try and bring my leg up and kick it.
Okay.
21.
That is a hit.
Yeah. So it's going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage, and I'm going to spend a key point. So I need a DC 14 con save.
That is exactly a 14.
No, it's not stunned.
Whoops. Oh, no, that was right. All right. Our. You're just encouraging me. Is that your turn?
I believe it is.
It is at this point that all of you hear the sound of metal on metal. And you all see from the bottom edge of the bottom surface of the hovering adamantine fortress, two openings appear, and two large metallic creatures, constructs, drop to the ground, crystals shattering beneath them. For a moment, you can't see what they are, and then their forms rise up on their 6 legs. You see massive coil of metallic tail arc up with electricity arcing at the tip of the Skaladar's tail. They appear like giant scorpions. But there's something peculiar about these constructs in their pinchers. Along the edges of their pinchers, they are fringed with rust monster antennae. And that, Dwight, is where we are going to go ahead and take our break.
So then I said, what's up with all these bees?
None of your business.
was beautiful.
Please
Ah.
spare me.
We are back. Oh
Find
man.
out what this buzz is all about.
Yes.
Oh, honey.
Zach has lost all of his real life hit points from all of these puns.
Enough droning. Let's get to the game.
All right. So as we left off, a couple of new enemies have entered the fray. These are huge scorpion looking constructs with lightning stingers and rust monster antennae attached to their grabbies. And it is their turn as they're going to scuttle through breaking crystals in this crystal field. They scuttle along heading towards you. I'm going to roll a d6 to randomly determine who's getting attacked. Asclepios, the first one is coming towards you. The second one is going for Phalos. These Skeledar have something against Greek sounding names, apparently. So Asclepios, it's going to be 3 attacks as it attempts to strike you with its both of its claws. First attack is definitely going to miss. That's a 4 on the die. So, well, maybe not. Yeah, 11. Yeah, it's definitely going to miss. Second attack is a 17 to hit. And then its stinger comes down at you. That is a natural 20.
But is it really?
I think he's saying re-roll it.
Yeah, please.
All right, spending 2 domain die to re-roll that and get another number. That is going to be a 14 to hit instead. So this thing comes charging in with no hesitation. Just the tail shoots down next to you, and you're dodging out of the way. You see the electricity arc out of its tail. And then the camera sort of smash cuts over to Phalos as this one comes at him, comes rushing in a bit hard, skitters along breaking crystals. It's only a 9 to hit on the first attack. The second claw attack is a 23 to hit.
That's with one of those rust monster claws?
Yes.
Domain die, please.
The reroll makes that an 11.
All right,
As you are dodging just barely, and almost it's one of those like in the 300, it's like comes in and you just slows down as these rust monster feelers just sort of pass within millimeters of you.
No.
And then the tail comes lashing down at you, but that's only a 12. And so just like that, the Skeledar are done with their turn. Eve, it is your turn. There are 2 new entrants, the Skeledars, and there is a wounded displacer bee and a pretty healthy looking displacer bee.
Okay. I think she's going to go over to the almost done one because in her mind, it's like get rid of one of them at least. So she'll go over and flank again, the one that Jin had just gotten a blow in on, and go in with her scimitar arm again. And this is just straight up roll since she's got the flanking set up, right? Yep. Okay. And then she will use sneak attacks. Why not? Okay. So that is going to be a 15 to hit.
That's exactly what you need on the displacer bees.
Okay, cool. Because that's nice. And then it is. Hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. These are bigger numbers. 18. 20. 29 plus 5 is 34, right? 36.
It's irrelevant. How do you kill yet another displacer bee?
Same thing. She just sighs and like decapitates it yet again.
All right. That displacer bee is
Murder
done.
hornet style.
One and done.
All right. Bark.
There's one bee and there's two of these, new combatants. Has the other bee been injured at all?
Just barely. It took just a little bit from the initial fireball that Phalos threw.
All right. Well, I still think it might be better to finish off the old combatants first and whatnot. So I will, if need be, position myself to still try to put myself between monsters and Fig. And I pull out my staff and long thorny vines begin to grow from the end of the staff, and I will cast Thorn Whip. That is a 28.
That is a hit.
So that's 3d6. So 13 points of damage.
All right. And it sort of, as the thorn whip whips around it, you hear it struggling as it catches in its wings, and there's that, and it drops low for a moment. Is that your turn?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, it's the one remaining displacer bee's turn, and it is going to attack you since you just attacked it. Well, that's not going to be a whole lot of anything. That's a 14. Oops, hold on. That is not a 14. That's the wrong thing. Let me click on this. It's a 13. So, and another 13. So both of these tentacle stingers whip out at you, and they're shortened.
Catch one with the staff, catch other one with the shield.
So that is that. Fig, you are up.
All right. With these scorpion looking things, is anyone in, are they in melee with anyone? I don't remember.
Phalos and Asclepios are each in melee with one.
All right.
Well done, Dan.
Okay. I am going to use Fig Bee's hand to attack one the last bee.
All right.
The last bee.
So that's at disadvantage with a 15 is needed to hit.
All right. All right. That is a 22 to hit. Which, do I still get the secondary or the other attack die? Okay.
Yep, it's an automatic thing right now while Archimedes is supercharging you.
Fantastic. That is going to be 24 points of, 29 points of force damage.
Wow. Yeah, you momentarily, I mean, it's literally that thing where you try to crush a bee and you think it's dead, and then you lift up Figbee's hand and it goes, and it starts to fly away. I need you to roll a D12.
All right. 12.
All right. You are good.
All right. And then I'm going to cast. I don't know. Oh my goodness. It has been so long since I've looked at Fig's spells. There's so many.
No, don't worry. It's so easy to just jump back into an 11th level wizard.
Oh yeah, it's great. I think I'm gonna cast sleep on I'm gonna try and only hit one of them. Of these scorpion things.
Just a reminder, the scorpions are constructs.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Okay. Well, he is going to
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on 1 minute. I was just looking at the sleep spell, and it just says that undead and creatures immune to being charmed aren't affected by this. With that, I will say that the fact that it's a construct does not necessarily hinder you from casting that spell, but you don't know whether or not it will work.
All right, let's try it.
All right, so which one are you casting it on?
The left.
The one that's on Philios or the one that's on Asclepios?
Philios.
All right. How many dice do you get to roll?
I'm gonna cast it at 4th level, which is 9d8, I believe.
All right, and you actually get to roll 10d8 because of Archimedes' boost.
Is it 2 extra d8 per level boost, or just
yeah?
One? Then I think it's 11,
2.
right? Starts at 5, and you're adding 3 levels, so 6.
Oh.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes. Yes, it would be 11, so it would actually be 12d8 that you get to roll.
Yeah.
All right. That is 65 points.
You cast this spell that, for the most part, looks like when you normally cast your spells, the mixture of cogs and gears, but the energy is replaced by this orangish energy, and as it ripples around this Scaladar, you hear Archimedes, "Why waste time trying to subdue them with non-violence?" But you know that it's not Archimedes that withholds this spell from working. It either wasn't powerful enough, or the creature was just unaffected by the spell.
Yep, that's my turn.
We are back to Asclepios.
So from where this these two pinchers have just come in, and then this tail has slammed down, as it's kind of like somewhat stuck in the rock, Asclepios is going to take the opportunity to kind of spin away from it to give himself enough room to unfurl once again the head of his flail and begin to swing it above his head. And as he brings it down towards this creature, he is going to hiss once again if he hits. That's a dirty 20.
That hits the Scaladar.
Good. All right, then, yeah, he's going to once again rattle and hiss as the head of this collides with just above the tail, the striker, the stinger. That's the word I was looking for. It kind of turns itself into the head of a snake once again and impales it with its fangs. And I'm going to dump a 3rd level spell slot. So let's see what that does. That's 5d8 in addition. All right. Is 7 and 31 points of damage.
Wow. Your weapon is magical?
It is. It's
All right,
fancy.
31 points. Perfect. All right.
All right, and then he's going to once again kind of wrench the head of this flail out of the surface, the metallic surface of this giant scorpion-like creature, and then is going to yank it back, and so that the head of the flail actually collides with the end of the handle, the chain kind of completely disappearing between the two, before he then rears back and like throws, and the head of it kind of comes shooting out of the end for another strike. That's a 15.
That is going to strike it in a thick part of its armor, creating a ringing sound that the vibration of this metal plate actually causes one of the nearby crystals to shatter. But it is otherwise unharmed from it. Gin and Phalos. Sounds like an awesome drink.
All right. So there's one of these giant scorpion dudes in my face.
Yep.
So Phalos is going to adjust his grip on the shield that sort of folded itself out of his arm, and the that bluish force energy will crackle yellow, and I'll cast Shocking Grasp and try and smack this thing. Is it considered to be wearing metal armor?
I mean, it's made of metal. It's a construct.
That's a nat 20.
Okay.
So 3 and doubled, and I'll add an extra zappy bit in a minute.
This is all lightning damage.
Lightning damage.
Don't bother rolling your dice.
Yeah.
As you strike it with this fully charged electrical damage, it almost pulls the electricity out of your hands, and you watch the electricity arc across its body, drawn to the stinger at the end of its tail, and you see it begin to pulse with the extra energy.
Cool.
This one has not taken any damage, so it doesn't heal, but you appear to have boosted its stinger.
Lovely. Well, then I guess I will try and blast it as a bonus action with the Eldritch Cannon, but that's going to be a disadvantage because it is in my damn face. I'm going to burn a domain die to reroll. 21.
21 is a hit.
All right, so I'll do some force damage to it and knock it back 5 feet. 8 force damage.
All right.
Does it look like it could still reach me with that tail or its pincers?
It does.
All right.
Does your ability to push things back, is there a size limit on that?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me check.
Because these Scaladar are huge sized.
Right. Force Ballista. Creature. Nope, no size limit.
Perfect. More crystals
right.
break around you as it sort of pushes back a little bit, but not far enough to take you out of the reach of its attacks.
Cool. I am going to risk it. Phalos's feet plates sort of click and separate and spread out a little bit into these veins that give off a rich blue energy, and he's going to try and fly up.
Okay. So it will, as you fly up, it is going to attempt to strike you with its supercharged stinger.
Fair enough.
I need the right die for this. Well, that was clearly not it. That is a 14 to hit.
Oh, that'll miss. So. Ah!
All right. So you, how
So
far
that's
up or
30
out?
feet up.
30 feet straight up.
Yep. And that's my turn.
All right. So you're actually almost level, or basically level with the bottom of the Adamantine fortress that hovers. So then Jin. 2 Scaladar and a barely surviving Displacer B.
All right. I'm going to hang on one second. Do I have that? I do have that. Okay. I'm going to move to attack the remaining Displacer B. Is
All right.
that a disadvantage?
Yeah, because it's displaced.
All right. 12's gonna miss, right?
Yeah, it's a 15 to hit the Displacer B.
Out of turn since, so I will give a wheel to
Oh,
you.
what does that do?
Roll a d6 and add that to your attack.
13.
Ah, you suck.
Appreciate it though.
I tried.
My second attack was a 26 though.
That'll hit.
So it's going to be math again. Worst enemy. 16 points.
Buzz, buzz, buzz. You can't destroy us. It's still up.
Oh. I'm going to, let's see. Okay, it's a bonus. All right, I'm gonna spend a key point, and Flurry of blows this thing. After these attacks with my sword didn't seem to do the trick, I will kind of just pivot around and kind of do like this backwards kick up at it, as part of the move. So the first 2 unarmed strikes, 17. I'll hit,
Hit.
right? It's going to be 9 points.
It's still clinging to.
18 on the second.
That'll hit.
Has 6 more points.
How do you end the last Displacer B?
It's a series of 2 of these kicks, and the second one is just enough to crack it critically, and shards just go flying off at this kind of upwards angle. And then I'm going to action search. And I'm going to turn back around, regain my footing, and sheathe my sword, the flames extinguishing as it goes back into its scabbard. And I produce this this kind of pair of pipes that these wispy, tattered cloths hang from. And I hold it up, pulling back my hood. The face, which was obscured by shadow before, has this carving of this kind of haunting face in it. And I put these pipes up to it, up to my face. And I imagine there's a very subtle whirring as some mechanism from within me starts to blow into this pipe. um, and this eerie tune is produced. The two Scaladars need to make wisdom saving throws or become frightened of me for 1 minute. DC 15. If they're immune to being frightened, obviously, it has no effect.
The one that is harassing or was harassing Phalos has a 19 on its save. The one harassing Asclepios has a dirty 20 on its save.
What if you re-rolled both of those for fun?
That's 4 domain dice, V, that are being spent. So the one harassing Phalos is now an 8.
Ha
And it's a critical failure on the other one.
ha!
They both in unison, in place, they just rotate until they're looking at you. And they actually just take a single step in unison back away from you.
They get to repeat that at the end of each of their turns. And but I do kind of, as I put the pipe away, I just move right up to him.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. But that is the end of my turn.
So I know when they are affrighted that they can't attack you. My internet.
No, they can. They just have disadvantage on attack rolls while they
Oh,
cast
okay.
TM.
It's not like a turn undead.
As long as I'm within their line of sight, they have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls, and they can't willingly move closer to me.
Well, because you went up to their face, they don't need to move
You're
closer
right.
to you willingly.
Mhm.
So you're going to be the subject of some attacks.
Cool.
This could be Zach's last time on the show. I'm just kidding.
No.
So at disadvantage, the first claw attack is a 9. The second claw attack is the second claw attack comes in and almost as if it's trying to frighten you back. But it firmly plants it right in front of you. It's a critical failure, and as per my house rule, grants you an opportunity attack.
Amazing. As it plants into the ground, I take the opportunity with my reflexes to pull the katana back out and cut at it. At this point, it's not on fire. And I'm going to roll a 12 to hit. I'm
There's
going to re-roll because that's lame.
all right, another domain die down.
18 is a little better.
There's the sound of metal on metal, and your blade barely makes a scratch in this claw. Is your blade magical?
Yes.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Does a 13 hit you? As the supercharged tail comes striking down at you. for its last attack. Missing you, it hits the ground, and you see this discharge of electricity just spread harmlessly through the ground. Asclepios, you're still engaged with the other one. So you are the subject of those attacks. So that is going to be a 10, a 9. I'm going to stop rolling that die. A 14. So all 3 attacks miss you. Big, frightening, rust-powered Scaladars, and they can't hit anything. Okay. Eve.
Okay, so as all this is happening, Eve just sort of again sighs. Her arm morphs from scimitar into longbow, and as her other hand raises up, an arrow pops out of her forearm. She draws it back and shoots towards the one that's been harassing Asclepius, and she gets a 23, and that is going to be 35 points of damage.
Where?
And that's my turn.
And do they get to repeat the save at the end of their turn? Is that right?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, they're both still frightened of you.
Have we figured out their armor class yet, by the way?
might be
You know that
18.
an 18 misses.
18 misses. Okay.
they're 19.
All right, Eve has gone and done some serious damage to the one on Asclepios. This thing is, you actually see some of the plating is starting to vibrate a bit when it moves. It's not as held together as firmly. It is your turn, Bark.
So that one is the one that's the most damaged.
Correct.
He will adjust position, and he begins moving his staff again, and you see the cloak again begin to emit that starry pattern, but this time it begins to light up in the shape of this metal scorpion as I cast another guiding bolt. That is a 26 to hit.
Yeah.
That is a total of 15 damage.
All right.
Is he still up?
He is indeed.
For my bonus action, Bark takes a look up at the underdark ceiling and just quickly mutters under his breath of how much he misses the starlight, and the bark and fur armor and all that begins to just fade as I use wild shape and take on the form of the archer. And I will attack that dude. That is a 23 to hit.
Yep.
So that will be 15 points of damage.
All right.
And that's radiant damage if it makes a difference.
What does it look like as you destroy this Scaladar?
So as the radiant form hits, for just a brief moment, the star-like form that I've taken, just kind of copies onto this thing, and it just kind of like collapses to the ground, resuming its form but no longer functioning.
All right. Those are all dead. Fig, you are up. One Scaladar remains, and it's taking a bit of damage, but it's still looking pretty sturdy.
All right. I think Fig is going to move Figby's hand over to this one. And, oops. Is going to attempt to grapple it.
Can you grapple
So
a
it has-
huge size?
I can. Huge
Awesome.
or smaller.
Fantastic.
Right. I just don't have advantage. Okay. So I have to make strength, I believe. Opposing for a grapple. All right.
19 from the Scaladar.
I have a 23.
Okay.
So this thing is now grappled, and with Fig's other hand, he's going to attempt to cast a firebolt, but unfortunately misses with a 13. And that's his turn.
I imagine it just arcing up, bouncing off the bottom of the Adamantine fortress. And you see somewhere in the background, it just sort of, this firebolt sort of arcs through several crystals, shattering them. And Asclepios, it is your turn. This is the one that you were engaged with is the one that is done.
Okay. Kind of taking a quick stock of the battlefield. Does anybody seem to be particularly hurt or injured?
I haven't hit anybody with my Scaladar.
Phalos is a bit dinged up, but he's up there.
Yeah, same for Eve, but it's nothing major.
Yeah, let me know if anybody needs healing. Kind of does fall into the druid realm.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of looking around and seeing that all of the companions seem to be okay, noticing that Fig is very capable of handling himself, not nearly as worried now. He is going to leave the immediate area to close with the second Skeladar. And as he does so, he's going to kind of try to pick a kind of an advantageous angle, kind of approach from a direction that it's not paying attention because it's fighting someone else. And as he closes with it, once again, he's going to pull this flail back behind him. It kind of drags on the ground for just a moment as he's kind of reaching down and pulls back up with his shoulder first and then swings all the way through with the head of this mace. Probably at one of the thing's back legs. Ooh, that's good. That's a 24.
Indeed.
All right. Once again, the head of the flail becomes the head that kind of mimics the shape of his own and becomes a snake, strikes out with its fangs. And I'm going to Divine Smite with another 3rd level spell. That's okay. Ooh. That's very pretty. That is 40 points of damage.
You knock several of the smaller segments of its plating askew, and you can actually see an adamantine structure underneath this sort of exoskeleton of plating. It is severely damaged. Jin and Phalos.
Go ahead, Jin.
I have a secondary attack.
Oh, Asclepios, finish.
I mean, as long as that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Be my guest.
Doesn't count. You didn't sing it. The next one is a 27.
That is a hit.
Okay, so I think you can, but can you Divine Smite on more than one in a round?
I don't know why not.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Then he's going to do it again. The snake strikes out a second time. not as impressive that time. It's 24.
What does it look like when you destroy the remaining Skeladar?
So he's approached from behind, and that first strike, it lands with the fangs first into the metal, and as he tears it away for his second attack, the leg actually detaches off of like the hip joint, whatever that would actually be called, and falls away, kind of smashing some more of these crystals nearby. And the thing's balance shifts and kind of teeters backwards, almost forming like a ramp as the base of its tail kind of hits the ground. And Asclepios, with like cold determination, just stalks up the back of this giant scorpion until he's level with its face, pulls that the head of the flail back all the way to the handle, and rears back. And as he's bringing it over in an arch, lets the head of the flail out and extends to the end of the chain and comes down right in between the thing's eyes. And then he just kind of rides it down into the ground, shattering all of these crystals that are beneath it.
As the now lifeless and no longer energized Skeladar collapses to the ground, all around you, you hear the sound of crystals, the remaining crystals underneath this adamantine fortress, starting to shatter. The 5 clockwork entities that have been here, you all hear you are doing well, but this is only beginning. And then all of you hear echoing throughout the chamber this same voice. The trial of Archimedes has been completed. And you all see the palace, the fortress, is growing lower. Phalos up, hovering up in the air. You notice that you're no longer even with it. It is descending. That is the sound of all of the shattering crystals. The taller crystals are being compressed under this fortress as it is settling down to the ground with an almighty crash and rumble that causes stalactites to shake loose from the ceiling, segments of wall to break free and crush. The adamantine fortress settles into the base of the cavern. On the side nearest you, which now that it is on the ground, it's only about 30 feet from all of you, you see on the face of it, from what would be an otherwise smooth surface of adamantine, you just see a section suddenly seams form, and the section slides forward, and then a piece moves, and all over it, pieces begin to rearrange themselves until a massive doorway has formed, or rather a door has formed that is now visible. This door is 40 feet across. It is twice as tall. And you see as adamantine gears and cogs begin all across it. And then it opens with a hiss. And it opens by moving along gears and tracks into like a pocket door into the side, rumbling in, revealing a 40-foot wide hallway that goes about 100 feet deep into the fortress. What would you like to do?
Phalos's voice clicks on and he just says, "What the hell is an Archimedes?"
Have we heard this name before?
I would like all of you to roll me an insight check, except for Fig. Fig knows who Archimedes is.
8.
11.
23.
23 for Bark. Eve?
12.
My brain just stopped. What's 17 plus 9?
26.
26.
Thank you.
Math is hard.
Uh-huh.
Bark and Eve. The rest of you, you've never heard this name before. Bark and Eve, when you hear the name Archimedes, it's as if a small compartmentalized portion of your subconscious is suddenly opened. And you become aware of the entity Archimedes. In your mind, Archimedes appears almost superimposed over Fig, like a faint shimmering specter of a construct. And you know it to be a construct form, and you know that you have the same familial connection to it that you do with the rest of these constructs. You don't know any more than that.
So I guess to Phalos, Bark would say a possible progenitor?
That would be my sister. The one I was telling you about in my head. Same name. Curious why the name is appearing now with a voice like that.
I have no memory of this place. Bark and Eve, you hear Archimedes speaking.
Bark would like cock his head and look around, just being a little bit more head jerky than normal, trying to figure out where this voice is coming from.
Eve would look to Fig and the superimposed figure and sort of narrow her eyes down, and the blue that they normally are starts to waver into almost a purple to a red for a moment, and will flicker back to blue. There's definitely a lot more going on here than we realized. Let's get the hell inside.
I like her. She's got a good head on her shoulders. Do you all begin moving inside?
Does anyone have injuries that need being dealt with?
Yeah, Phalos will drift back down. I wouldn't mind some repairs.
And I think Asclepios is kind of like coming up, like just having finished, kind of last to join the collection, and is looking around and says, "Perhaps we can handle this inside." And he's kind of looking around nervously, kind of trying to usher people in through the doors.
As if in answer to you saying this, the cavern floor shakes violently as some unseen entity or seismic activity causes it to vibrate heavily.
Inside it is.
You all make your way inside this 40-foot wide, 100-foot long entrance. You see walls of smooth adamantine, floors of adamantine. The floor, to differentiate it from the walls, as well as the ceiling, has an appearance almost like Damascus steel, sort of a pattern to it. On either side of this hallway, every 5 feet, there are engravings etched into the adamantine surface. These engravings are pictures of constructs. Numerous constructs of various shapes and sizes. So all in all, there's about 20 of them on either side. As you move along this hallway, you would each recognize one of your party likeness etched into the wall, except for you, Fig. At the far end of this hall, there are 3 large etchings rising, 2 of them rising halfway to the ceiling, one rising almost all the way to the ceiling, which is 60 feet high. The central figure stands with a wide-legged stance, and there is a single brass door set into the adamantine. As you grow closer, you see on the left, 30 feet tall, an etching of figure 1 Prometheus, or figure 2 Prometheus. On the right is an etching, a carving of figure 3 Archimedes. The 60-foot tall figure in the center of this wall is figure 1 Copernicus. Fig, you recognize all 3 of these as more detailed carvings of the drawings you saw so long ago. The rest of you would only recognize figure 2 Prometheus on the left, except for Bark and Eve. You recognize figure 3 Archimedes as the figure that is spectrally superimposed over Fig's being. As you are all taking this all in, there's the sound of whirring gears, grinding machinery, and the large door that you entered through closes behind you. When it is fully closed, a single brass wheel begins to spin on that central door. As it swings open, revealing a darkened corridor behind it, you hear the trial of figure 2 Prometheus begins. And that is where we are going to end this session. Thus ends episode 2 of season 5, Rime of the Frostmaiden, which is also part 1 of the Adamantine Fortress arc, in which we are exploring what happened to Fig during his disappearance when Gerithan and Fig switched places. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. I know there's a lot of mystery and stuff going on here. This session was very combat heavy. I can promise you we won't have full session combats during the rest of this arc. I can't promise you there won't be combat. That's entirely up to all of you. But I'm excited to see how you guys deal with what's coming, and as you begin to puzzle through everything. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Everybody start spamming your favorite emotes as a shout out to tonight's producer, Dwight, the big bearded nerd, who we greatly appreciate stepping in at the last minute to help produce this when my internet couldn't handle it. We greatly appreciate that. We are planning right now on still for the next couple of weeks playing on Thursdays, but on that what is this, the 3rd would be the 10th, the 17th will be our last session of the year, regardless of where we are in the arc. We're going to take a 2-week break for the holidays, so mark your calendars for that. Don't forget, tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, we've got Curse of Strahd, run by Alan of CFT RPG. and the Fang Club happening, tomorrow. I will be over on the Talon and Claw Twitch channel on Sunday for 4 hours instead of our usual 2-hour stream. We are doing a 4-hour Sea of Thieves stream where we are doing once again Team Squad Up Quest for the Cure, as we've partnered with Jesse's Journey, and we're raising money for the fight against Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We've got some great prizes lined up. I know Anthony's going to be giving away some Talon and Claw merchandise. We've got, I believe, a couple of codes or possibly physical books. I don't remember which, for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I believe D&D Beyond has given us some stuff as well. But I have promised that throughout that 4 hours, I will be blowing up every member of the crew. Hopefully at some point, all of us all at once. They didn't give me the nickname Boom for no reason. So please tune in for that. Tune in on Mondays to check out our All That Glitters Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage, where this Monday, M is also returning to that one after the same 4-month hiatus. Every other Tuesday, not this coming to, although this coming Tuesday, it's M again. We'll be over on Dice on Ice playing Curse of Strahd. But then on opposite Tuesdays is where you can find V along with the Goblin Katie, DM Jazzy Hands, and Dr. B as we run through the Harper's Tale, our Hope and Redemption campaign that we are running there. And also, if you haven't done so already, please head over to Big Bearded Nerd and follow the Big Bearded Nerd channel. That's where we are running all of our non-D&D content. We've got Star Wars coming up this weekend. We're gearing up for some Call of Cthulhu. I don't remember if it's modern or if that's going to be the Delta Green, but we're running a lot of Call of Cthulhu. Dwight's got a Expendables Mecha Hack series over there. Dwight's saying that's going to be Pulp Cthulhu. Our friend Ricky from the All That Glitters campaign is going to be running that. So, and Dwight's showing off his new affiliate bling, as he's apparently made a mecha or mech emote. So, finally, I want to thank, of course, Zach, Dan, V, M, Ted, and Jeremy, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. With that, we are going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Metabean.
Uh,
Tilda.